will tell you that the interview I did was based in truth. I didn't play the role of a angry wrestling announcer. I was an angry wrestling announcer. I was not happy with my illness. You know, somebody would say, well, JR and Cornette did this show and we went to it. You know that damn JR didn't smile one time. Well, I'd love to. If I could, I would, I promise you. Like a Cheshire cat. But I can't. My grandchildren, I have an 8th grader and a 5th grader. They've never seen me smile. Now, you could ask their grandma, and she'll say, well, that no-good bastard's never smiled. But the point is that it was cathartic for me to go do this promo. But I wish I'd have known where it was going to go. I don't think any of us knew. It basically was using my voice to facilitate the Razor Diesel angle, and then hopefully that was going to stick. I did my part. I facilitated it, but it didn't stick. It wasn't a good creative.
I was on the creative team at that point, right? Now, please don't think I'm taking credit for that idea. I'm about to tell you a story. So at this time, me and Bruce Pritchard would go, it's a long story, which I'll try to cut short, but Bruce and I were supposed to work at his house every day, and then every Wednesday, we'd go over to Vince, and that's back when you used to do TV just once a month, right? So we'd go to Bruce Pritchard's house, and he'd throw the ball and play with his dog, and we'd go to lunch at the pizza place, and I'm like, why aren't we writing TV? He said, we can't do anything without Vince telling us what we're going to f***ing do. I said, then why am I here? He said, that way if the phone rings, somebody calls from the office, we're working. All right. So we went to Vince's that week on Wednesday and did whatever the we usually do, which is basically the ceremonial turning into the papers. Here's formats we've done. Thank you, my son. Crumple, throw, boom. Then start all over again. Then I go on the road that weekend because I'm managing Vader. So we're in Oklahoma, I think, as a matter of fact. And I walk in the building 2 days after I've been to Vince's house where we've discussed the following week's television. And all the boys come running up to me. Razor and Diesel are coming back. Razor and Diesel are coming. I said, what are you talking about? It was announced on Livewire this morning, right? The Saturday morning show. Razor and Diesel are coming back. I said, I don't know all about this. I don't see how this is possible. Then I find out JR is going to come out and cut the promo, and Razor and Diesel are going to return. And it's going to be, instead of obviously Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, it's going to be poor Glenn Jacobs, who had just gotten over being an evil dentist with bad teeth, and Rick Bogner from Canada, right? Then they tell me, take him over to the studio, get him in the ring, and teach him how to work like Razor and Diesel on a week's notice. So I asked for all the tapes from the studio, right? Hall and Nash, Razor and Diesel, give me all the tapes. And I've told this story before, but with Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, he did a lot of shit. He was a pretty good worker, right? Nash, I'm sorry, it's true. The 6 moves, right? You got the knee in the corner. You got the back elbow. You got the snake eyes. You got the power bomb. The hair flip I'm counting as a move, right? I'm writing them down on a pad, and I get to 6, and I got no more. And I go to Glenn. I've known Glenn. I started him in Smoky Mountain. Dutch Mantell brought him up to me from Puerto Rico. Anyway, I said, Glenn, this is what I got. He said, oh, fuck. So we did the best way. And then, of course, Nash has made mockery of it. Well, I've made a lot of money with those 6 moves. Yes, and that's obviously mass hypnosis to the wrestling promoters that have paid him to do these things. I don't know. Wasn't it Jerry Briscoe when Nash said he was the lowest paid WWF champion in history? Jerry Briscoe said that's because you were the lowest drawing WWF champion in history. But I digress. Anyway, it was fucking doomed. You can't replace characters like that. Vince got up on the side of the bed one day with that idea. We own them, pal. We own these characters. Yeah, but the guy is what makes the gimmick. The gimmick don't make the guy. That's what a lot of these comedy writers don't understand. The guy makes the gimmick don't make the guy. And classic example of that's The Undertaker, greatest gimmick in the history of wrestling. Anybody else but Mark Calloway did it, dead.